You check your phone 144 times a day. That's not an insult. That's the average. But here's the part almost nobody knows. It isn't the content that's doing this to you. Not the videos, not the likes, not the messages. In 1954, two scientists ran an experiment on a rat that would accidentally explain your entire phone habit 70 years before smartphones existed. They gave the rat a lever. Every time it pressed the lever, a tiny electrode fired directly into its brain. The rat pressed that lever 7,000 times an hour. It stopped eating, it stopped sleeping, it stopped everything, except pressing. And when scientists finally figured out why, they didn't just explain a rat, they explained you. For decades, everyone assumed the electrode was triggering pleasure, that the rat was just chasing a feeling so good, it forgot how to survive. It made sense. It fit the story we already believed about reward. Press button. Feel good. Press again. Simple. Except it was wrong. It took almost 50 more years and a neuroscientist named Wolfram Schultz to find the mistake. Schultz wasn't studying rats. He was studying monkeys, and he was measuring something most researchers had ignored. The exact millisecond dopamine got released in the brain. Here's what he expected to find. A monkey does a task, gets a reward. Dopamine fires. Reward equals dopamine. Case closed. Here's what he actually found. The dopamine wasn't firing when the reward arrived. It was firing before the reward arrived. The moment the monkey saw a signal that a reward was coming, that's when the brain lit up. By the time the reward actually showed up, the dopamine had already started fading. Pause for a second and sit with that. Dopamine isn't the chemical of pleasure. It's the chemical of prediction. Your brain doesn't light up when you get the thing. It lights up when it thinks the thing might be coming. And then Schultz did something even more revealing. He started removing the certainty. Instead of the reward showing up every single time, he made it show up only sometimes, 50% of the time. Random. The dopamine spike didn't shrink, it exploded. Uncertain rewards produced a far bigger response than guaranteed ones. Not knowing whether the reward was coming was more intoxicating to the brain than getting the reward itself. That's not a fact about monkeys. That's the exact blueprint sitting in your pocket right now. Think about what a slot machine actually is. It's not a machine that gives you money. It's a machine that gives you maybe. Pull the lever. Don't know what happens. Brain lights up in the space of not knowing. Casinos figured this out. Generations before neuroscience had a name for it. They just called it design. And somewhere in the mid-2000s, that same design got quietly built into your phone. Pull down to refresh. You don't know what's waiting. Maybe a message. Maybe nothing. That gesture, pulling down and releasing, was modeled directly on a slot machine handle. That's not speculation. That's the actual language early designers used to describe it. The red notification badge isn't a color choice. Red is the color your visual system is built to notice first. Evolved from a million years of red, meaning blood, danger, urgency. It's borrowed deliberately to make an unread message feel like a threat your brain can't ignore. The scroll doesn't end. There's no bottom of the feed on purpose, because a bottom would mean a moment of knowing. Knowing there's nothing left. And knowing kills the loop. So the feed keeps loading, keeps promising that the next post, the next video, might be the one, might be the good one, might be the one that matters. Every open of the app is a small pull on a lever built by people who understood Wolfram Schultz's monkeys better than most therapists understand their patients. Here's the part that should make you a little angry, and also let you off the hook. This was designed, not by accident, not by nature, by teams of people optimizing a single number, time on screen. You are not weak for falling into it. You're a healthy human brain, doing exactly what it evolved to do, dropped into an environment built specifically to exploit that evolution. Be honest. Have you ever picked up your phone, checked it for nothing in particular, put it down, and picked it up again 90 seconds later? That's not boredom. That's your brain checking whether the lever paid out yet. So if this is a design problem, why can't you just decide to stop? Why does knowing all of this right now, watching this video, still not fix it tomorrow morning? Because anticipation doesn't live where your willpower lives. The circuit we're talking about, the one Schultz mapped, sits in some of the oldest real estate in your brain, structures that existed before language, before reasoning, before the part of you that's currently thinking, I should really use my phone less. That newer thinking part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, is incredibly good at planning and terrible at overriding a signal that fires in milliseconds underneath conscious thought every single time your screen lights up. You can't outthink a reflex. Nobody has ever willpowered their way out of a pupil dilating in bright light. This is the same category of problem, which means the fix was never going to be trying harder. So what actually works? Here's the one lever, no pun intended, that neuroscience keeps pointing back to. Uncertainty is the fuel. So the fix is removing the uncertainty. Not fewer notifications, not a screen time limit you'll override in 4 seconds. Predictability. When Schultz's monkeys got a reward on a fixed, known schedule instead of a random one, the oversized dopamine spike disappeared. The anticipation collapsed because there was nothing left to anticipate. Certainty is boring to a brain built on prediction. And boring is exactly what breaks the loop. That's why checking email at 3 set times a day kills the compulsion in a way that checking whenever never does. That's why turning notifications into a scheduled batch instead of a random drip quiets the itch almost immediately. You're not fighting the mechanism. You're starving it of the one ingredient it actually needs, which was never the content. It was the maybe. I want to hear your take on this. Do you think you check your phone more out of boredom or out of that specific feeling of, what if I'm missing something? Because those are two very different problems, and only one of them is what we just talked about. Let's go back to the rat. The rat with the electrode never actually got anything from those 7,000 presses an hour. There was no cheese at the end, no mate, no safety, no meal, just the firing, just the anticipation of a reward that technically never fully arrived because the electrode wasn't rewarding the rat. It was hijacking the part of its brain that wants to want. You don't have an electrode. You have a glowing rectangle that does something eerily similar 144 times a day and calls it connection. The lever isn't the phone. The lever was never the phone. The lever is the gap between not knowing and finding out, and somebody built an entire industry on making sure that gap never closes. If this changed the way you look at your own phone, hit like. That's genuinely how more people who need to hear this find it. And if you're into the kind of ideas that explain the hidden mechanics behind everyday behavior, subscribe. Because every week, we take something you do without thinking and show you exactly why you're doing it.